Hello and welcome to Pompey Talk Extra Time in partnership with Jan Leap. My name is Mark McMahon and joining me on the sofa today for today's programme is sports writers Jeff Marshman and Jordan Cross. Guys, we've been inundated with emails today to build up today's show. We'll go straight into some of them. We've got Big Phil, who contacted us through portsmouth.co.uk.
Scolari. Big Phil.
Scolari, yeah. He's looking forward to the trip to Oxford. And he likes the 4-5-2 formation that Paul Cook may introduce.
4-5-2. Oh, I bet he doesn't like
too many players on the pitch. Come on, Phil.
3-5-2. 3-5-2.
Right, okay.
But he's a wee bit concerned that Paul Cook is admitting he's got a plan B and he's worried what that there may do in the Oxford camp. He's concerned. Should we be letting the opposition know what our backup plans are?
Gamesmanship, isn't it? Why not? Why not say we've got a 3-5-2, we've got a 4-2-3-1 and let them worry about what we're going to play? I don't think there's any problems with that at all.
Jeff, the first time in my life I agree with you. What is going on? I think the philosophy of Paul Cook is to get the simple things right. He cares passionately about the approach, his philosophy to football, the way to go out and let the opponents think about Pompey and what they're going to bring to the table. Don't overcomplicate the situation, and I really applaud that approach. So he's kind of like saying, we're going to go out and do this, we may switch to that. It's all stuff that's going to be considered by Oxford anyway. They're going to watch Pompey.
They've done their research.
The analysis in the game today is to the nth degree, and even down the chain, it is so complex and detailed. So they will know the ins and outs of Pompey's strengths and weaknesses. There will be the odd surprise here and there, and also you've got the nuances of a system. If you say you're going to play 3-5-2, or 4-5, or 4-2-3-1, or 4-5-1, or whatever, there is nuances and changes you can have within that will surprise the opposition. But I wholeheartedly back Cook's style of saying, let's go out, let's give them something to worry about, let's not look at that too much, let's go and do our due diligence on the opposition, but then worry about what we're going to bring to the table.
Jeff, last week when Pompey played 3-5-2 in the second half due to the Roberts injury, were you surprised that there was the formation they went for? Obviously, people think about 4-4-2 as being maybe the obvious backup plan.
I think on the face of it, a little bit surprising that Adam Webster was the one to come on. I think you would have maybe thought like for like someone like Gareth Evans would have come on, but Pompey weren't playing that well at the time, and obviously Paul Cook thought there was a need to switch things up. He's obviously been very vindicated in doing so, and I do think it sort of suits Pompey's style of play in terms of Ben Davies and Ender Stevens are converted then into wing backs, and a lot of what they're doing in the 4-2-3-1 is bombing forward.
Spot on. I mean, Paul Cook said exactly that yesterday. You weren't at the presser, but he said, really, it doesn't change that much between the systems because the way he plays in a four with those wide men, if you look at the mileage and do their pro zone stats at the end, I don't think you're going to see a great deal of difference with 3-5-2. But what it does do is get the extra man up top. You still have the formation in a 3-5-2 to hopefully dominate possession. And then you get the Rolls Royce of Adam Webster in the team as well. So that's a big, but really interesting to pick up as well. Paul Cook talking about the 4-4-2 he used at Chesterfield. Yeah. He said that was his plan B at Chesterfield was a 4-4-2. He said it never worked. Yeah. They had a they were 3-0 and lost the game 4-3. I think it was Morecambe when they went with 4-4-2. So yeah, that plan.
Maybe
B.
we're not expecting a 4-4-2 then. Anytime
no, perhaps not.
Well, Jordan, you mentioned Adam Webster. He came on against Barnet last weekend, had a stormer of a game. Do you think that would then make Paul Cook think maybe 3-5-2 doesn't necessarily have to be plan B? It may be someone that he may be willing to play more often as plan A?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, he publicly will say he's got options and he won't rule anything in or out. I think his 4-2-3-1, I mean, it's been documented over time. That's the one he goes back to time and again. And if you look at the success he's had in recent seasons, you wouldn't argue with that approach. But he has got a bit of a bee in his bonnet about it because he was earlier in the season when we were drawing games and at half time and then going on to get a result in the second half. He said, I bet all you guys were saying 4-4-2 at half time, get two men up top, get the crosses into the box. It's all right, all this airy-fairy possession stuff, but we want to see balls in. So, it's an approach that he obviously was dealt with in the past at Chesterfield, where he's taken flak backs. He's got a little bit sore about it. The actual, I put it in my column at the time. No, we're quite happy to see this dominating possession in 4-2-3-1 because we haven't had it here all the time in recent seasons. But yeah, it's an area that Paul Cook comes back to time and again.
Okay, Jeff, we'll go on to another subject that's been brought up through Spencer C. Again, his email has come in through Portsmouth.co.uk. He obviously wants Gary Roberts to make a speedy recovery, but he fancies Cal Naismith to maybe come into the side tomorrow against Oxford.
Okay, well, yeah, I think as we touched on earlier when we were doing the preview of the game in our video with Giant Leap, we said that we think it's possibly going to be between Cal Naismith and Gareth Evans. That's if Paul Cook sticks with Adam McGurk up top, because you've got to think that Connor Chaplin's done enough to keep his place, and you've got to think also that Kyle Bennett's going to keep his place. So you've got 1-3 position that's obviously been freed up by Gary Roberts. So I think it's between those two players. Really, I think probably Gareth Evans will play, not Cal Naismith, purely because Evans has done well this season. He's done enough to warrant the start, and Cal Naismith has been coming back from injury, hasn't really. But to get into the team and to get around in the team, you have to be given a chance, don't you? So it's interesting that Spencer C thinks Cal Naismith should be coming in, and he may well go with that. But I just see it that someone that's been tried and tested so far in this formation and has played well this season probably will be Gareth Evans, I think.
Sorry, remind me before I know you're on
just
the phone.
one final tweet here from Bristol Dan, who says the plant won't last 2 months. It'll be full of dregs of coffee and mouldy, and I can't say that bit before we get to bonfire night. So
well, I do think it does need watering.
A bit worse for wear.
Guys could maybe sort that out for next week. But Jordy, talking about Cal Naismith, we'll stick with him for a second. I can't remind me, was he injured at the start of the season?
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
He had a bit of a tough time in coming to the club.
Do you think if he had been fit at the start of the season, it would have given Paul Cook maybe a selection headache in those 3 positions behind the lone striker? Could he have been utilised more often?
No, if I'm being honest. Because I think Paul Cook viewed Cal as a youngster that's perhaps one more for the future. I was very excited when Cal Naismith signed in the summer. I got to have a chat with him, and having seen him play at Accrington a couple of times, I was kind of like, that's going to be great. He'll come in and he'll be right in contention for the first team. Then you get to speak to the manager in pre-season, and he viewed it a bit differently, that he was more of a long-termer. Cal came in, and bearing in mind he's had a real tough time of it. He lost his partner recently, and he's come to a new area. This is a new start for him, but I think he's found it quite hard to settle in. And then you get the injury on the eve of the season, and then he has that tough start where you're looking on, the big nights in the cup, and you get 16,000, 17,000 at the games, and he's kind of looking on from the stand with a knock. So he's kind of looking to make up for lost time. Obviously came in, he had a few minutes at Exeter, wasn't it, in the JPT? But hard to really judge him on that. But he's going to be chomping at the bit now, and I hope he gets some minutes, because he is a talent. But very much in terms of those players that are playing, if it is a 4-2-3-1, I think Kyle Bennett and Gary Roberts are the shoe-ins. Gareth Evans, and then you a bit underneath them, and then you're looking at the others perhaps. And then McGurk, where does he factor in? So I think that's the hierarchy.
Okay, Jeff. Obviously, Naismith is on the bench if Paul Cook needs them. You've also got plenty of other options: Tubbs, Stockley. It does show you the strength and depth that Paul Cook has at his disposal, that he can call on to these types of players if things aren't going right for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've touched on it there. The likes of Matt Tubbs, who was last season the top goal scorer in League Two, for him to now be on the bench just goes to show how good sort of the attacking pool is. But that's throughout the squad, isn't it? I mean, defensively, solid. The likes of Adam Webster aren't getting in the team at the moment, and every time they play, they're playing well. And then you've got so many options at defensive midfield. We haven't even seen the likes of Adam Barton, have we, who was brought in the summer. And going forward again, there's so many attacking midfielders that you can pick from, and now we've got three out-and-out strikers, haven't we? Whereas before we were maybe thinking it was a run between Tubbs and Stockley, with McGurk playing well.
What are you thinking of your Matt Tubbs at the moment? I mean, after last weekend, you're thinking you're even further off it. And
Well, when you hear the news that Jaden Stockley's not going to be playing because his partner's given birth, and you wake up to that on social media, you
automatically think Tubbs is going to be that lone striker, don't you?
I was guilty of that.
Did we even factor McGurk into the thinking?
Well, McGurk has played up front for Pompey this season, hasn't he? He did in the Johnson's Paint Trophy.
He did in the Cup earlier in the season, didn't he? But no, I mean, Paul Cook kept referring to him as a player that can play as an out-and-out striker, and he kind of said it a few times, and you kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, you're just saying that to kind of like keep people perhaps on their toes. And like he keeps saying about the 3-5-2 formation, he constantly referred to it. But then he's gone out and done it, and you're like, wow, this lad can actually do something. He needs to learn the role a bit more, as he would openly admit, and he needs a bit more cutting edge. I like the way he's an honest player, and he was kind of dropping off deep and wide and covering for players who were bombing on in front of him. So, but if you look at Matt Tubbs, he is the arch poacher. You won't see too much of that from Tubbs. He'll be looking for that niche,
What I would
that
say
little
is,
glint of opportunity at goal.
What I would say is, don't be too surprised if Tubbs starts.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing that could happen, isn't it?
Yeah, but do you think Tubbs' role in the squad now is like an impact player coming on second half of Pompey or chasing results, trying to look for a goal?
I know there's people in the board and around the board who feel that could be the case. I mean, the chairman's a massive fan of Tubbs. We know that he's his #1 fan. But he was saying, speaking to him at some stage, he said, well, it could be that he would be useful coming on and tearing things up for 30 or 40 minutes, and you can see him doing that. But what an impact player to have at your disposal.
Yeah,
I mean, it does indicate. I mean, most other clubs at this level would bite your arm off to have Matt Tubbs in their team.
Yeah. Well, as always, we open up the vote to the readers of the news to vote for their Pompey 11 ahead of each game. And as usual, the fans have been voting in their droves. And we've got the lineup who the Pompey fans would like to see start against Oxford tomorrow. I'll just quickly run through that there. Goalkeeper, Brian Murphy as usual, no change there. A back four of Ben Davis, Christian Burgess, Matt Clark, Enda Stevens. The holding midfield positions occupied by Nigel Attangana and Michael Doyle. An attacking three of Kyle Bennett, Connor Chaplin and Gareth Evans. And then McGurk up front. Lads, I'll talk to you then about that starting 11. It's the same starting 11 that started against Barnet. Again,
obviously Gary Roberts.
Well, Gareth Evans coming in for Roberts. But it looks like Pompey fans, again, want McGurk to lead the line. They're forgetting about Tubbs, they're forgetting about Jayden Stockley. Does that surprise you?
Not really, because of McGurk's performance last week. I mean, that last lives on in the memory. That's the last thing you remember. And I would have given McGurk man of the match in front of Chaplin last week. And obviously Chaplin got all the plaudits. So I'm not surprised, but that's that's the nature of football. 1 minute you're the hero, and then people sort of forget about you. And I think it was quite a margin, wasn't it, as well, in terms of the figures for McGurk starting up front. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, he was way out ahead of both Tubbs and Stockley. Yeah, sort of 75% of the vote, I'd say he got. Yeah.
And Chaplin, popular choice.
Chaplin again, probably. I think the most popular choice. This is quite interesting always, is to know who the most popular choice is for fans. I think the most popular choice this week was Christian Burgess, followed 1 vote behind by Ben Davies and Connor Chaplin. Yeah,
they seem to be the players that Christian Burgess and Ben Davies seem to be very popular when it comes to the vote every week. And again, they always top the charts, which is no surprise because both of them have made such an impact at Pompey since arriving in the summer.
Well, Ben Davies is the archetypal Pompey player, isn't he? Wholehearted, committed, just puts the graft in. There was a game earlier in the season where he kind of ran from the right back position, chased down the midfielder, chased down the centre half, then chased down the goalkeeper, and the fans were kind of, go on, Ben. And that's what we like to see. He's a strong, tough lad as well, wholehearted. Fits the Pompey build perfectly, so no surprises there. And Burgess probably has been the standout, hasn't he? In terms of had to pick an early season player. How many centre halves do you see doing step overs?
I know, tell me about it. Yeah. Whenever Paul Robinson left, we were sort of going, what are we actually going to be left with here? But Burgess and Clark, Jeff, have stepped up and been solid for Pompey, haven't they?
They have. Just touching on your point about how many centre halves you see doing step overs. What about the bloke at Luton who does?
McNulty, Steve McNulty,
what a guy.
The Baresi of League Two.
Yeah.
But there you go. But Christian Burgess, a bit of a wet blanket, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, that there leads us on nicely to Christian Burgess. He was interviewed yesterday by Jordan down at the Pompey training ground. Let's see what he had to say ahead of tomorrow's game against Oxford.
What sort of test do you expect from Oxford this weekend?
Definitely a tough test. The team that like to get the ball down and play. We're thinking they play 2 up top. Got good strikers in Taylor and Hilton, and they've been tipped to do really well this season, as have we. So it'll be a tough test. But the boys are looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to a challenge.
A consummate professional there.
Yeah, Brian Murphy. He's not had many starts, so he's relishing the ones he has had. Thankfully, he's a good lad. But yeah, no, we're looking forward to it this weekend.
Consummate professional, as I say, as I keep the questions going there and we move the cameras back. But you go there in confident form and with a decent performance last weekend as well.
Yeah, it was a good performance. Disappointed to go 1-0 down perhaps, but sometimes that's going to happen. The lad finished it off well. I thought we showed great attitude to come back, and I think probably won it fairly comfortably in the end. We had some other chances that could have gone in, but they were a tough test. They were a physical side. It's probably something a bit different this weekend. which we'll look forward to. And we've done a bit of work on the training ground, how to combat that, and I'm sure they'll be doing the same. So it should be a good game this Saturday.
One of 5 unbeaten teams in the country and unbeaten in the league. How important is that to yourselves and the team? Does that give you confidence? And is it crucial to keep it going, or is it one of those where you just say it's going to arrive one day, that defeat, and then how do you bounce back?
Yeah, I think it gives us confidence. I'd like it to keep going, you know what I mean? It's always nice for that kind of thing to keep going, but at the same time, it's definitely not crucial. The way the gaffer likes to play is football, is going out and winning games. You know, he wants to go out and beat teams, and eventually you're going to lose trying to do that. So I say it's not crucial, but obviously it's a nice feeling being one of those unbeaten teams.
Yeah. We've just seen the mood around the camp, and there's lots of banter going on, as we've seen, and there's lads knocking around playing head tennis around the corner. I mean, just give it an insight into how things are in the camp. I mean, we're here at kind of in the afternoon, and people are still going home. It seems that the days of Pompey players shooting off, you know, straight after training are a thing of the past now. Yeah,
no, it's a great vibe around the place at the moment. Obviously, you know, good performances help towards that, but also, you know, the boys are a good group. They're getting on well. You'll see most of the lads messing about playing head tennis till, you know, all hours, and boys will be in the gym now. You're going to have a walk around. You know, there's a bit of table tennis going on. Lads normally do a bit extra. I think they've finished now, but yeah, it's a good vibe. There's a lot of banter going around. Obviously, Murph's not got much of it, but yeah, it's a good place to be at the moment. Hopefully that continues, because the longer that continues, the better, you know, the results will continue to be on the pitch.
Okay, Jordy, an interesting day at the training ground there. It just shows you, though, the team spirit that's already in that there Pompey camp.
Yeah, I guess people were wondering what I was talking about when I said it was a wet blanket. But that was, it's indicative of what the mood is around Pompey at the moment. It was a funny moment, and great to catch it on camera. But on a serious note, there is a real good spirit. I know that's always touched on, and people tend to say that at clubs, but it's notable. And you will see at Pompey at the moment, you know, we were there doing the presser, and you can be there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The players are still around. Now, if you compare that to the days when I can remember Carnu, the players would come in at 10 o'clock in the morning, out on the training pitch at 10:30. At midday, Carnu would be in the car, in his training kit, and gone.
Is that the quickest you've ever seen him move?
It was very good. Great banter. Yeah. Better than some of the banter we saw there. But on a serious note, now they're there until 2:30. We were down there yesterday watching them. Matt Tubbs and some of the younger lads with Stockley, they're out there playing head tennis till whatever time. Paul Cook gets involved in that. He's the reigning champion. He's untouchable on the head tennis.
Is it a testament to Paul Cook that this is happening at Pompey? That
it's very deliberate.
Yeah, because obviously there was a lot of comes and goings at Pompey during the summer. A brand new squad. Paul Cook has had to mould them into a team that he wants and have that vibe that he wants too. So he's obviously invested a lot of time to make sure that everybody in the camp is happy.
Well, it's a gift and a curse as well, because Paul Cook really beasted players in pre-season with double sessions, and now you'll see the players come in on a Sunday. And often do sessions as well. So it's not all jolly. It's a jolly boys out, and he really does work the players. But now you see the youngsters; they want to hang around because there's a decent spirit there, and it's all done deliberately. It's a great facility down at Roco. You know, the pitches are coming on now. They look much more up together after a tough period. You've got the players in the gym. We were off, and Danny Hollins was out with the youngsters as we were disappearing yesterday to do some other stuff in the afternoon. So yeah, long may that continue. It's done very deliberately. It's not for effect. I know when the press go down there will be a bit of playing up to the camera and look at all the fun we're having it. But for my money, that's not false. It's a genuinely good place to be at the moment.
Jeff, you have first-hand experience of Paul Cook's welcoming approach. You went down to Pompey whenever they're doing a bit of sparring down at one of the local gyms, boxing ways. Again, you were made to feel at home and part of the squad, really, didn't you?
Ended up going for lunch with the team. Yeah, it was very nice actually. Yeah, I think as Geordie's touched on there, I think one of Paul Cook's great qualities is his man management skills, isn't it? His ability to sort of talk to players one-on-one and make them feel wanted, even if they're not sort of in the starting 11 at the moment. And I think, as Christian Burgess touched on, the fact that Pompey are winning and doing well on the pitch is obviously then going to breed confidence and banter and whatnot off the pitch. So it's a happy camp at the moment, and sorry, voice has gone there. Long may that continue. I'm now going to cough.
Jordy, let you cough then, Jeff. You all right to carry on? Yeah.
I feel like I maybe got a bit nervous.
Good stuff.
You're a young lad, but puberty.
I don't know what's happened there.
Right. Yeah. If you choke, let us know.
Thank you.
Jordy, obviously Paul Cook has brought in a lot of players. People would expect then a period of transition in the squad. But Pompey, again, the results in the league show that they've moulded as a team well. They're only going to get better. again, does that surprise you that they have started so well?
Well, I guess it's a testament to, as we were talking about a moment ago, the fact that they've worked so hard in summer. They really, that gives you a chance, doesn't it? If you're going to go and put the hours in, get to know each other. And of course, there are players that Paul Cook knows very well.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had Romy Boko come in this week as well. I mean, mentioned Romy, who's another one that he knows he can turn to and rely on, who knows, and that helps the transition. So it gives you more of a chance. Yes, it's happened very quickly. Yes, Paul Cook's been riding that wave of euphoria when we came in, and we've seen the great possession football, and they've used that very well. Look, there's going to be a few road bumps along the way, and I mean, there's every chance it could come this weekend. It's a tough game against Oxford, so it's how they respond to that there. But a great start, and it doesn't entirely surprise me. To an extent, it does perhaps, but when you give yourself the best chance of it happening, it's more likely to happen. So credit's due to Cook and the team for that.
Okay, Jeff, Jordan mentioned Romy Boko who's come in during the week. He's obviously went out on loan to Hawks to get his fitness up, but he's obviously a player that Paul Cook has a lot of confidence in.
I think he's signed him, what, 6 times now? Is that right?
Over a variety of times with Sligo, wasn't there? He didn't sign him at Accrington, but had him at Accrington.
Yeah.
And then Chesterfield.
3 times at Sligo, Chesterfield as well.
It's tried and trusted then, isn't it, from Cook? Again, this is a player that he knows very well, and for that part, it now seems that the right back selection conundrum, whatever, it is now solved, because obviously Ben Davies has now down that berth, but we now have the backup option of Romy Boko. A good idea as well to get him out to the Hawks, I think, on loan, get some games under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, people perhaps won't know too much about Romy, but he has got good League One experience last season at Chesterfield. He played at Plymouth. And you kind of think, why is he going out to Hawks? I mean, that's a great attitude for him to say, look, I'm off the pace, and this is my own pre-season, as he said in the news today. Yeah. And we're going to explore. He's our back page lead on Saturday, so he's going to be exploring that in a bit more detail. But he's got a great attitude. I know a lot of the guys and girls up at Accrington and up in the north who speak very well of Romy and his attitude. The King of Benin.
The King of Benin, that's
Benin
right.
International.
Benin. But Jordy, do you think it is just as back up to Davis, or is there more to him? Because I thought he was more of an attacking player.
He's not an attacking player. He can play. He's a versatile player, and he would say that himself. He can play right back, centre midfield, or down either flank. He said at a push. But when I spoke to him on the phone the other day, his attitude was so refreshing. He was like, look, I'm a backup player. I think I can offer something to the team. I want to go out and get my pre-season and come back in and do myself justice, but I'm ready when called upon. And for a player to come out and be honest like that and have that attitude is refreshing. Yeah.
Do you think there'll be any more additions? Obviously, we touched on the emergency transfer window last week. Yeah. He's obviously come in since the last program. Is there likely to be any more coming?
Well, with the right back, that's the right back situation covered now, but I'm guessing that Paul Cook, going back, he was looking at the centre-half position, an experienced centre-half, and we're still talking about the marquee signing, aren't we? So that's all stuff that continues. November the 25th, the close of the emergency loan window. You're going to see players go out as well, I dare say, even though we've again explored about the trouble that Cookie's had with getting players, even out to local teams, which is desperately sad, really, with these youngsters. I mean, who would want to take some of these kids? Brandon Houndstrup and the like, and Tollett. Crikey, they'd be good at conference level, and even above, you would think there would be takers for that.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, Jeff. There's one player that we seem to always forget, and he goes under the radar an awful lot. And he when it comes to the Pompey lineup, as voted for by readers of the news, he's constantly at the top of the ratings too. It's Michael Doyle. Yeah, he goes under the radar so much. What sort of job do you think he is doing there at Pompey?
He'll like that, won't he? The fact that he goes under the radar. That's very much how he goes about his business. He's sort of a quiet, unassuming guy off the pitch, and on the pitch, he just sort of keeps things ticking over, doesn't he? His job, as he said to us before, is to get the ball and give it forward to the guys. The entertainers, I think, is what Paul Cook refers to them as. Just get it and give it, and just do the simple stuff well. And there's always going to be a place for a player like him in the team. I think he's done a very good job. I have to say that. I think that if you're looking at someone to regain the ball, keep the ball, whatever, he's got all of those attributes. And obviously last season, he was a captain of Sheffield United, wasn't he? In League One, so his pedigree speaks for itself.
Yeah, Jordy, you agree with that there? Like he's an essential cog in the wheel.
I think he could be the essential cog in the wheel. He's been fantastic. Just goes under the radar. He's got himself fit, and he's such a. You think he's a presence in the dressing room as well. I mean, he knows his business, and he goes about his business in a very.
Well, that was the concern, wasn't it, from fans when he first started? Was his age, and is he going to be fit?
If you look at him, he's kind of like my build. He's about 11 stone, but he's a beast. And He filmed a few tackles up at Gillingham in pre-season. God, the lad, he almost halved him. He just absolutely... It was a tackle, we went in hard, but he knew...
It was a fair challenge.
It was a fair challenge, but it was one where I'm not getting hurt.
Exactly.
And if anyone's getting hurt here, it's going to be you, mate. And he knows how to tackle like that in a way where he's not going to endanger himself. And that's professionalism.
Yeah. Another player then, Jeff, as well, is Enda Stevens. He's made that left back slot his own. Obviously, Brandon Houndstop is an option there at times, but has he impressed you this season?
He has. I mean, he's had that one blip, didn't he, where he probably let himself down a little bit by getting sent off. But Pompey then came back to nick a point, didn't he, against Morecambe.
Yeah,
in
that's right.
Fantastic thriller game. But I think when he has played it, he's been excellent. And Stevens, and what he can do as well, although he's a sort of a left back, is he will bomb forward like Paul Cook likes his fullbacks to do. And I think he's now, has he set himself an assist target?
The promised of 10 assists. And he's claiming the throw-in. I forget which game it was. At Plymouth, wasn't it? Which he won the penalty to Roberts. Yeah. He's claiming that as an assist number 2, which is fair play to the lad. But it's slightly unnerving because it takes me back to about 2006, where maybe 2006, 2007, where Papa Diop scored at Oxford United in pre-season, and then set himself a 10-goal target for the season. It kind of sent a shiver down my spine.
Never materialised, did it?
Yeah, does it quite surprise you?
How many goals did he get in all of the years since?
Probably about, I think, one. I think that probably was his only goal, wasn't it? He scored an absolute worldie for Fulham once, I remember, from about 45 yards into United. I think that was just kind of hit the ball as hard as he could. 10-goal targets from Papa Diop. Great back page leads of our time.
Well, maybe one day we'll get Papa Diop back in Pompey to see what he has to say about that. Or maybe, Jeff, that could be one for your big interviews.
Yeah, I've got no idea where he is right now.
Oh, by the way, he just talked in riddles as well. He just go, Papa, delighted to get that goal today. Football goal. Football 10-goal season. Okay, all right, okay, cheers. So some deciphering on the when we get down to transcribe those interviews.
Yeah, maybe not though.
Good luck.
Talking about big interviews, Jordy, you've lined up an interview with Dave Waterman.
Yeah, Dave Waterman, great character in the Sports Mail this weekend. The guy, one of the unsung heroes. Just a real sort of yeoman, solid, committed footballer. Got a bit of stick at times, but God, he loves the area. Had some tragedy in his life, as we know with the loss of his son to cancer. But just the things they're doing now, the fundraising for the Oakley Waterman Caravan Foundation.
There's a 24-hour.
They did a 24-hour run, which was they're supposed to be broken into legs of 8 hours, where they did a relay. They did 24 hours straight. Yeah. And now next week he's swimming to the Isle of Wight.
Is that right? Yeah.
The guy's a legend. Great character. Still lives in the area. Plasterer these days, and hopefully worth a reading the Sports Mail tomorrow.
Okay. Well, there should be an excellent read in tomorrow's Sports Mail. Get that tomorrow after the full-time whistle, along with reports from tomorrow's game against Oxford. You can also get reports, reaction and pictures at portsmouth.co.uk. That's on the website after 5:30 tomorrow. My name's been Mark McMahon. You've been watching Pompey Talk Extra Time in partnership with Jan Leap. Hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.